Hi, today I'm going to tell you about past continuous tense. This is the tense that tells us about the situations that happened in the past, and in this particular time in the past they were in progress, means they weren't finished. These activities can also indicate the length of this activity. For example, yesterday, this time, I was drinking cola with my friend. Or I was digging my garden for 5 hours. This is a past continuous tense, so as you can hear from my examples, the verb phrase includes two elements. Luckily, they are very easy, and what you need to use to make this verb phrase, first of all, is the proper form of the verb be, and of course in the past form, so was or were. I was, she was, he was, it was, and you were, we were, they were. And the second verb with ing ending, about the spelling rules on how to use or how to add the ing ending of the verbs I told you in other movies. If you don't remember these rules, please go back to this particular film. So, to make an affirmative sentence in this tense, you need these two elements. Of course, your first element is the subject, so the person, the verb phrase, and the rest of the sentence. For example, I was drinking cola. To make a question, you always use inversion because still we are using the verb to be, and the questions with the verb to be, we always make this way. So, was I drinking cola? To make a negative, you just need to add the not to your personal form of the verb to be, and you can use both, the longer or the shorter form. So, for example, I wasn't drinking cola, or I was not drinking cola. The short answers are pretty easy because the only element that changes is the word was, wasn't, or were, weren't. For example, yes, I was, no, I wasn't. Yes, she was, no, she wasn't. Or yes, you were, no, you weren't. Right now you know two past tenses, and it's a good time to talk about the situations in which we can use them so that the usage of these both past tenses is not that complicated. So you have to remember that each time you talk about the situations in the following order, one activity starts and finishes. The second activity starts and finishes. The third activity starts and finishes. So you get a kind of chain of activities that start and finish. This is a good situation to use the past simple tense. For example, I went in, sat on the sofa, and turned on my kettle. You can also talk about activities, 2, 3, 5 activities, which weren't finished in the past, but happened in the same time. For example, I was reading a newspaper and he was doing the dishes. Both activities weren't finished in that particular moment, but still they happened in the same time. And the third situation is where you combine these two tenses and you tell about the activity that happened for some time and was disrupted, stopped by another activity, which is usually the short activity. So the long activity is present, is the past continuous, and the short activity is the past simple. For example, I was having a dinner when my neighbor came in, or I was having a bath when the telephone rang.